Should we do
No
some Christmas,
singing.
no
No
Christmas
singing.
singing?
No Christmas songs, please.
Hello, Whiskey Taste Buds. Adam and Greg here, Blue Collar and Scholar, with our YouTube channel. 2025. Happy New Year's to everybody, or Happy Hogmanay. We decided one of our New Year's resolutions this year would be to try and do a few more videos, more content. And so we picked Robbie Burns Day as the day to do start off points.
Mm-hmm.
So happy Robbie Burns Day. I hope you guys have enjoyed some haggis and some whiskey, and we're gonna share a couple of drams with you right now.
The first on the list.
Did you want to go right into whiskey, or do you want to talk about Robbie Burns a bit?
Let's
first?
talk about Robbie Burns.
Okay. I'm gonna nose this while you talk about Robbie Burns.
Okay. I mean, most people know about Robbie Burns and the Robbie Burns night, which is his birthday. But did you know that the first Robbie Burns was actually in July 1801? That was about 5 years.
I did not know that.
5 years after he had died, they decided to hold these dinners. The only problem was that they got the date wrong. And so the first one was in July, and then they decided, once they figured out that he was actually born in January, so they held the second one on January 29th. Still got it wrong. So it took about a few years before they actually got it right. And it continued on from then on to today, where we now see about 2,500 celebrated events throughout the world, from U.S. to China, and even Antarctica is now hosting Robbie Burns Night. Now,
Pretty much wherever there's Scots, I think.
I think it's more than the Scots now. I think everybody's jumping onto the bandwagon. Like in Vancouver, which is, we're close to Vancouver. We know all about Vancouver, but they have the Gung Haggis Fat Choi, which is one of the new events.
It's like a hybrid celebration of Chinese New Year and
exactly, and Burns
and Robbie Burns. Yeah.
So the important thing is that with all of this happening right now on this night, it actually contributes significantly to the Scottish economy. I think I read it's about 300 million pounds annually for this event. So,
which is really good in January, because as we all know, it tends to be a bit of a doldrum month,
especially after Hogmanay.
Yeah. And so it's good for everybody's mental health as well to raise a dram.
Absolutely.
For an amazing poet. And
so, shall we?
Yes.
Let's raise a dram to Robbie Burns, and to you as well.
To the lads and lassies.
Aye.
Which one is this?
This one is Bruichladdich Bear Barley, 2009.
Oh,
it's about 50% ABV, so it's got a nice little
that's
twist
right
to
in
it.
my wheelhouse, as you all probably know.
Yes, and the fact that it's bear barley means that it's barley that's actually not grown on Islay, but instead on either Orkney or the Shetlands. So it's an old barley that's interesting that Bruichladdich decided to try it out.
Yeah, I believe it was originally used by Norse settlers and stuff like that
Did they drink?
in the northern end of. Well, no, it was grown as a barley.
Right, as a barley.
for bread
Actually, yeah.
and whatnot. But
So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Bruichladdich obviously, or for those of us more familiar, comes from the Isle of Islay, along with the other famous peated whiskies. This one is unpeated, so it's one of Bruichladdach's unpeated ones, unlike the Octomore series, which is overly peated, and the other ones that they also
they also do the Port Charlotte, which is they call heavily peated, and then the Bruichladdich is the super heavily peated.
I mean the Octomore is super
pardon
heavy.
me, the Octomore is the super heavily peated. Yeah.
So, and this one is matured in an interesting French wine cask called Pauillac, and it's got a beautiful nose on it.
Absolutely.
And certainly draw in that wine.
Something about wine matured whiskeys that just doesn't disappoint. I don't think I've ever had one I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of wine is that? Do you know? Is it a red or a white?
It's a red.
It's a red. Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen them starting to use white wine casks and play around with that in some whiskeys, and it's interesting.
Very interesting. This 2009 means this particular set of casks was under the tutelage of Jim McEwen, who was the master distiller at the time at Brooklady, since retired, but clearly
I believe he was just knighted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Sir Jim McEwen.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Congratulations, sir.
I think that was in 2024, I believe.
Okay.
It could be totally wrong,
deserved.
but this could be false news.
Oh, yeah.
Fake news.
Wouldn't be the first time.
It's okay.
But we'll go with it. Cilantro.
Mm-hmm. We also got one more whiskey to share with you guys.
Oh, yes, right.
It's another island whiskey, but it's not Islay whiskey. This one comes from the Isle of Arran, but it's not from the Isle of Arran distillery.
He says Aaron. I say Aaron.
I did say Arran.
No, he said Aaron.
I purposely said that because I knew you'd correct me.
Who am I to correct?
Anyway, before we come to blows here.
Yeah.
This is from Lag Distillery, which is actually from the Isle of Arran distillers, but it's a new distillery they built near Kilmorey on the island, or Kilmorey, and it is basically their peated whiskey. And I've tried a couple of their whiskeys. They're fairly new, very new.
Oh, actually, I've got a couple behind me.
Yeah, they're very new. They don't even have age statements, but the first 3 whiskeys they put out were, in my opinion, amazing. And this was the box. They all kind of have the same sort of theme.
Yeah, the first 3 are in larger boxes, so they have a stronger presence. By the time they got to this box, they didn't need the stronger presence
Exactly,
anymore.
yeah. And so this one's called the Korkavi edition. Probably mispronounced that.
It's okay, I'm not going to correct you.
Because you don't
I've
know
learned
either.
my lesson. Korkavi or
Korkavi, yeah. Well, once you taste it, I'm sure you will be craving it more. And then they put a little bit of a red stain along the bottom of the box. I don't know if the camera will pick that up.
Yeah.
Because what that is a sherry cask edition. So that's what.
Clever.
Yeah. And so really excited to try this one. One of their inaugural releases was also a sherry cask, and it was my favorite of the 3.
Which one's this? This is
Ex-bourbon.
heavily peated. Ex-bourbon.
Yeah.
50%.
The other really cool thing about Lag Distillery is the boxes. Cool artwork, but also on the back they have a ton of information. So yeah, so sherry finished, peat source with northeast Scotland. The peating level is 50 parts per million. Water source, it says borehole, which I'm guessing is well. The UK's, they have different
They do, I'm sure.
terms for stuff, but double distilled, non-chill filtered, no color added, 55% ABV, and the tasting notes, which are typical of sherried whiskeys like dark chocolate and red berries. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. And if you guys see this one on the shelf, I believe this was part of the BC Liquor Store's Premium Spirits release back in November, but you might be able to find some on the shelf still, hopefully. I don't think the price points are that bad either, and they're pretty affordable, so definitely grab one if you see one. Well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe it's horrible.
Could be. But it's got a hell of a nose.
Yeah.
For being horrible.
I don't think it's going to be horrible.
Right in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect peat level, in my opinion.
Wow. Wow. If you have a chance, get it.
Perfect ABV. Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, those are some wicked drams for Robbie Burns Day.
Absolutely.
And after this, I'm going to recite some poetry.
Oh, shit.
But I'm going to turn the camera off first.
Oh, thank you. That was gross.
Anyway, till next time, you guys.
Yes.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.